West Asia continues to be embroiled in conflict as world leaders scramble to reach a ceasefire deal between Israel and Palestinian group Hamas. With famine imminent in northern Gaza, UN calls on Israel to open crossings into northern Gaza for delivery of humanitarian aid.
As tensions in West Asia continue to spiral and talks between Israel and Hamas remain deadlocked, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken this week embarked on a visit to meet leaders in Israel, Jordan and Saudi Arabia. This was Blinken's 7th visit since October in an effort to get more humanitarian aid into the conflict-torn Gaza.
The most effective goal to address humanitarian crisis in Gaza, to alleviate the surplus of fluid on that, and to create space for a more just and durable solution is get the ceasefire and how to be down.
Meanwhile, the United Nations warned that famine was imminent in northern Gaza and could spread across the enclave of 2.3 million people by July. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres called on Israel to open 2 crossings into northern Gaza so that aid could be delivered directly from Israel's Ashdod port and Jordan.
In northern Gaza, the most vulnerable, from sick children to people with disabilities, are already dying of hunger and disease. We must do everything possible to avert an entirely preventable human-made famine. We have seen incremental progress recently, but much more is urgently needed, including the promised opening of the 2 crossing points between Israel and northern Gaza, so that aid can be brought into Gaza from Ashdod port and Jordan.
Construction is underway for a U.S. military-built pier off Gaza to deliver humanitarian aid to the enclave. U.S. President Joe Biden announced plans for the pier in March as aid officials implored Israel to ease access for relief supplies into Gaza.
This increase in aid is a result of increased efforts. Together with the United States Central Command, we're working on a temporary maritime pier known as JLOTS, which stands for Joint Logistics Over the Shore.
Non-profit organization World Central Kitchen also resumed its operations in Gaza this week, nearly a month after 7 of their 8 workers were killed since the conflict broke out. The organization's founder, Jose Andres, said that the decision to resume operations was both the hardest and the simplest one. Prior to halting operations, World Central Kitchen had distributed more than 43 million meals in Gaza since the Israel-Hamas conflict erupted in October last year. The ongoing conflict continues to exert pressures on global trade. Oil prices fell for a 3rd day on Wednesday amid increasing hopes of a ceasefire agreement. The 7-month-long conflict has not only affected millions in Gaza, but also crippled international relations and economies in the global south. As diplomatic efforts persist and the toll of the crisis deepens, the stakes for regional stability and international relations remain alarmingly high.